Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. BT15 is officially here and it's time to do a deck profile with BT15 cards in it. So today we are presenting with you Quantum Hybrid. That is right. It is a hybrid deck that is playing this new boss monster Quantumon, which shouldn't even have been in BT15, but Bandai thought, you know what, let's just throw this in the set anyway and have some fun with it. Yes. What's cool about this deck is I tested it in pre-ban list meta. This includes Apocalypse and full power Metal Garurumon and full power Nubismon. And this deck is holding up quite well against those three decks in testing. It's definitely a viable deck that even I'm considering for the Ultimate Cup this weekend if I have time to play in it. So I'm going to give you guys the sauce, explain how it works and why this deck is so cool. And if you guys like it, like the video and comment, let me know what you think, and also subscribe. That would be really cool. Now, of course, this Quantum Hybrid deck is yellow hybrid based because it's me. You think we're playing green hybrid on this channel? Anyway, the eggs here are 4 Cupimons and a Nupomon. Now, this is a very interesting ratio given the way we're playing this deck. I'm going to explain why I'm doing this. Because Cupimon, when attacking, lets you draw a card, you have 5 more security. It's easier to actually have 5 security in this deck if you do things properly than it is to have 3 or less. 3 or less puts you in a bit of a danger zone in this format, but 5 or higher is what you want to kind of work towards. So keeping him on there is really good at ensuring that. Also, it just makes for a good turn to swing, draw a card. Upamon is there for later on in the game. This gets you cards earlier, which gets you more combo pieces earlier. So that's why I'm playing this ratio right now. I've gone both ways on it, but I think keeping him on right now is the way for me. Now, this yellow hybrid deck, I've gone back to my Lopmon base because I really enjoy the Lopmon cards, and I'm getting myself ready for the advanced deck with the Lopmons and Terramons and all that. I'm really excited about that. But anyway, we're playing 4 of the AX2 Lopmon and 1 of the OG Lopmon BT3. This one on play, add top card of security to your hand, and if you do, draw a card. This one heals you at 3 or less security if you have Shu Chong Wong on the field when you play it. So between this and like a Magna Ace or Ruin Mode or whatever, it's really, or just Sylphie, it's really easy to get back to 5 security, no problem, making Cupimons live. And that's pretty good. We love to see it. I love the Lopmon package, and we'll get into more of that later. And our backup rookie in this deck is 2 copies of Harrismon. Harrismon here is one of those security rookies that has a really cool effect. At the end of the battle, you give something security -1, then it goes to your hand. So if it's hitting security, it just goes to your hand, which is nice. It gives -1 of something, might prevent a bit of a super aggressive push on you. Maybe. Sometimes it doesn't, that's fine. But it does go to your hand. There's a really cool combo with this card that I'm going to show you later. But enough of that, let's go into the champions. And this champion lineup is pretty straightforward. We're playing 8 hybrids, because it's a yellow hybrid deck. We gotta play our 8 hybrids, and 1 copy of the Geogreymon from BT13, the one that's limited to 1 copy per deck. When you evolve it, search your security, play a Tamer, heal 1. The other effect in here will help 3k or less, I guess, can come up sometimes, but it's really there just to fish a Tamer for you. It's at 1 for that reason, and we gotta play it, so I think that's pretty mandatory. Speaking of limited cards, we're gonna go into our ultimates now and show you guys the 1 copy of Jet Sylphimon because that's at 1, unfortunately. Still, for some reason, I don't know. But yeah, evolve for 1, heal 1 is pretty powerful. Well, we like that, that's good. Other ultimates include 3 copies of Rise Greymon. Now, there are 2 routes in which you can play this deck. You can play an Angewomon package, which would sort of kind of increase the number of ultimates you need to play. I've tried that. Or you can play Rise Greymon. I love Rise Greymon because when you evolve it, he plays a Tamer for you, which really helps you in your hybrid deck. Also gives you Sec +1 inheritable if you have 3 more Tamers, which you probably will. So the Rise Greymon I think is more valuable right now. It helps you get a little more aggressive in a game where being aggressive can help. Angewomon is really cool, but against Apocalypse, it doesn't matter how much you heal. They're just still going to deck you out. They don't need to check security to win the game. So that's my logic for that anyway. And we're on 3 copies of Magna Angewomon Ace from BT14. When you play it or evolve it, you heal 1, pops, or do 1,000 damage for every security card you have. And then you can only do that if you have 5 less security, whatever. It's also a hand trap. Now, it's a really easy hand trap that your opponent would really see. Like, for example, if you evolved just Geo Greymon or a hybrid even, and just left it there chilling, I think that's a pretty obvious tell for a hand trap. We're not really using this as a hand trap. Usually we just play it, and then, or evolve it for 3, and then evolve it to 6. It's good at what it does. It's not really the hand trapping, though, that it should be, so we're playing only 3 copies of it. That's okay. Now, on to the Megas. 4 copies of Quantumon. Now, I don't think people have really read what this card does, and apparently people are sleeping on Quantumon. I didn't know that until I perused the internet today, which is crazy to me. I don't know who would sleep on this card. It's probably the best secret rare in the set, now that a Pokemon's at 1. So anyway, this card's really good. So, when Digivolving, by placing a Digimon on top of its owner's security stack. Reveal all your opponent's security cards and place one among them on top of your opponent's deck. Shuffle the rest. What's really cool about this, so Quantumon does, besides the look at your security part stack card, does 2 things. It can either get rid of a really annoying threat on your opponent's side of the field, or you can put your own stuff in security, like Harrismon. Even at 2 Harrismon, the number of time I put my own Harrismon in security to then trigger the Quantumon when evolving effect is really good. Because it makes it harder for your opponent to play the game because Harrismon's there. But then it's also just burning a security. It's not putting a card in security and burning one. It's just straight up burning a security, which is really strong. So you have whatever option you want. I will say that 8 out of 10 times you're probably going to just remove a body on board. But if you can set up that combo, it's really, really nice. And then Quantumon really starts to shine during the start of opponent's turn effect, where you reveal a card category like Digimon or Option. You reveal top card of opponent's deck. If it is that card category that you reveal, then this is unaffected by effects of that card, of those kind of cards, until the end of the turn, which is really, really good against like security control, which is mostly Options, or a Digimon deck that's mostly Digimon. Like, it's a really good anti-meta card. And then you also take this card on top of the deck and you either put it on top or leave it on the bottom, or put it at the bottom, whatever you want to do. So the Quantumon sticks around usually always for at least 1 turn after it's on the board. After that, you're blind guessing because you don't get to put something else on top of security every turn, you know what I mean? But he's really good, or she, I don't know what Quantumon is. Quantumon's really good at just staying alive, being annoying, controlling your opponent's top decks, while you slowly do the Quantumon and hybrid pushing for game. Which is really good. And 13k on a Rise Greymon with 2 checks is a pretty strong body, I'm going to say. So yeah, we play 4 Quantumons, it's your ace of the deck, it's pretty cool. Our backup level 6, if you guys know me, you know it's Venusmon. Venusmon, I'm going to be real, we're only playing 2 copies of it, primarily because at the time of this, Pokemon is still at 4, and Venusmon doesn't do a whole lot against that deck. Sure, it shuts off when Digivolving and when attacking effects. That's great. It does, to a certain extent, stop your opponent from like doing Garurumon digging, because Venusmon will stop those one evolving and attacking effects. But besides that, like it's still good against everything else. It's good against Melga. It's fine against Anubis, and it's good against a lot of random stuff that exists in the meta. So Venusmon as a 2-of right now is fine in this particular deck. It's not Yellow Vaccine. We don't have to play 4, but I think 2 is just right. Quantumon's the one you want to go into the most anyway. And top off the Digimon, we're playing 2 copies of Shine Greymon Ruin Mode, because if Quantumon isn't the most reliable card in the matchup that you're playing against, turn it into a Ruin Mode. That sounds pretty good. Or if you do a Venus lock, turn it into a Ruin Mode lock. It's pretty good stuff. Ruin Mode's an incredible boss monster with the global -5, -10 if you can get on the same turn is incredible. Healing, it's just popping things. Ruin Mode's a boss monster. He emits massive boss and monster energy. Great card. Let's talk about the options real quick before we get to the Tamers, because it's really simple. We're doing 4 copies of Physical Training, and we're doing 1 copy of Reinforcing Memory Boost, because those are just good cards. This one's at 1, and trainings are search any yellow card, which the whole deck is yellow. So we do love to see it, and they're good consistency cards. We like that. I was also playing 2 Lonkies at one point. I subbed them out for 2 Tamers. I'll tell you what those Tamers are when we get to them. That way you know, like, okay, Lonky is a really good removal card in the format, especially with Machinedramon popping up. I know, like, Machinedramon's not good But like, if you don't have an answer to Machinedramon, like say you have a local meta where everyone likes Machinedramon for some reason, you're gonna want to play Lonkies. At least 2. I'll tell you what cards I cut for that, and I'll tell you what cards I'd consider cutting for 2 more Lonkies as well. So let's just, get going here. We're playing 4 copies of Memory Tamer TK, because TK just adds a card from your deck from your security hand to heal 1. It's Memory Tamer. Really, really good. Then we're playing 3 copies of Tai and Kari Kamiya. Tai and Kari is interesting because it's a lot better if we're on Upamons as opposed to Keepymons, but it's fine if your opponent is at 3, because it's really just easy to put your opponent 3 security. It's not a lot of effort to do that, and then it's at least always getting 1 memory per turn, which is good. The big reason why we play Tai and Kari is because of the secondary effect, though. You suspended to do minus 2,000 opponent security. Why that matters is because of Quantumon, right? There are decks that have high DPs in security, and you want your Quantumon to survive so it can keep doing its thing every turn. So Tai Kamiya is there to help ensure your Quantumon survives. So that and the other effect is really good. It's also, sometimes you just want to stick at 3 security anyway at the start of turn, and then go to 5, thanks to like Lopmon and Magna Andromon Ace. So like Tai and Kari does run miles in this deck. Then we're playing 3 copies of Shuchong Wang. I will tell you that one of these was a Lonky. That was one of the cards that was a Lonky. Shuchong Wang, though, is on play. You may play a Lopmon from your hand without paying the cost, which is pretty cool. And then start your turn, if you have 3 or fewer security, draw a card. So like, if your opponent is dumb enough to leave you at 3 or less, you're going to get a lot of extra cards. If they can't kill you, they're just be drawing cards and drawing cards and drawing cards. Like, it gives you effectively, if 1 copy gives you an effectively extra draw per turn, drawing twice per turn is really good. I can't complain about that. And you need Shuchong for the 1 Lopmon to heal. So I think that's fine. Now, 4 more cards left in the deck, and they're Tamers. 2 copies of TK and Izzy. I'm going to be real with you. I want to bump this up to 3, and I'm thinking about cutting a Tai and Kari for a 3rd one of these, because this Tamer is that good in this deck. Start a main phase, you get a memory for control 5 or higher, which you probably always do, because it's Quantumon, or it's Venusmon, or something like that. You also get a memory for your opponent, controls 1, which is fine. Not super often, but happens. And then your turn when you evolve, do minus 1,000 DP to something, suspending it. That's pretty cool. Like extra 1,000 DP on something might kill something. I don't know. It comes up. And lastly, we're playing 2 copies of TK and Kari. One of them was the second Lonky. I bumped it up to 2 because I have no issues with Machinedramon. Like, I think Machinedramon is free. Not like free, but you gotta work for it. But what I needed more than Lonky was TK and Kari, because you need a real incentive for your opponent not to start rushing at the start of the game. Having a Memory Tamer TK plus 1 of those, if you're losing, gives you 5 memory to start your turn, which is massive. You can do a lot in this deck with 5 memory. So that's pretty cool. It also has an effect that gives minus 1,000 to something when one of your Digimon attacks. So, combine that with like TK and Izzy, you might be doing some things. So yeah, that's the deck profile. You guys know what I cut for 2 Lonkies, and if you really, really, really hate Machinedramon or something, or want more Lonkies, I would cut a Ruin mode for one of the Lonkies, and I would cut probably a Tai and a Kari for another Lonky, is what I would do. It severely reduces your Tamer count, which is why I struggle against doing that, but all the Digimon you kind of need. Like 7 rookies is a bare minimum, 9 champions is a bare minimum, a level 5 base is pretty well needed because you play 6 megas, and I think you need it. You don't need 2 Ruin modes, you usually ever go into 1. 2 is nice because it gives you that consistency that you'll eventually just draw 1, or have 1 TK or something. But that's it. That is Quantumon Hybrid. What do you guys think about the deck? I love it a lot. It does do really good damage against the big 3 right now, which is Apocalypse, Melga, and Anubis. I'm seriously considering playing it for Ultimate Cup. I really, really am. Primarily, again, because not a lot of people play Machinedramon, and that's just fine. That's all good. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone!